Hey guys, Michelle Klon, Scottsdale, Arizona. How are you? I have very good news and very bad news today.
I seriously hope you have your facepalm protection. Good afternoon, everyone. Johnny O from the plot hole. Who hates paying bills and taxes? I mean, I know I do, but I recognize the need to do said things. Regardless, today's video comes from Michelle Klon as she gives us a detailed explanation on how we're all being trafficked. I'm sorry for all the faces that are about to get palmed, but it's time to get into whatever this nonsense is. So grab a beverage, your softest oven mitt, pull up a chair, and let's dive right in.
um, I feel like Operation Wake Up just keeps going. But I have some really, really important information to share today. I really hope you guys take some notes and that I hope you're excited about what I'm about to share today, because I am here to share solutions, not just problems. But it is heavy. Like a lot of the stuff I have to share with you today, it's heavy, but I'm going to provide you solutions. And as always, Trump has got our back. The whole entire White Hat operation it's multinational. They've taken care of everything. It's just all about us waking up and learning how to walk in sacred honor and learning how to stand up to these crooks.
I know what you're thinking. A whitehead operation is the removal of a hemorrhoid. Wait, what? She didn't say Operation Whitehead? She said white hat? Oh. The term white hat refers to an ethical hacker whose job involves hacking into computer systems to detect security risks. The term in its definition derived from old Western films, where law-abiding heroes always wore white hats. And what the fuck that has to do with the price of tea in China is beyond me, but okay.
So, first of all, we got to start with the bad news. um, the bad news is that they're trafficking every single one of us. I mean, when the information started coming out about the Cestui Que trust, okay, so what is a Cestui Que trust? What am I talking about? Why is that so important? It's one of those things where you really do now have to grasp how they've been trafficking us and what's been going on behind the scenes, so that we can resolve the problem, so that we can stand up to it, so that we can make sure it never happens again, because we've got to know their playbook. Okay, so Cestui Que trust may also be referred to as a social security trust or a master trust, depends on where you are in the world. And pretty much, I'm pretty sure every country is doing this to us as human beings. So when you were born, they started to trust in your name and they started trading you on the open markets. And then every time you ever set up an LLC or you got a mortgage or you bought a car or a boat or you put your kids in public school, or private school even, or universities, anytime you've ever operated in the public, like set up a bank account in the public bank account, or anytime you had a court case where they summoned you to court, they were drawing money from the other side of your ledger, meaning they already had racked up a bunch of money in your Cestui Que, and because they are operating for the mafia, they're drawing money out of your account. So how do I prove that to you? And why is that such a problem, right?
Are your faces hurting yet? Cestui Que is French for he who lives. It is a legal term for an individual who is a beneficiary of a trust or an insurance policy with rights to property and the income and profits that the property provides. A Cestui Que trust is a person entitled to an equitable rather than legal trust in the estate assets. As I'm no lawyer, and neither is this person, I consulted people who are well more versed in this than I. She believes there's a secret trust account that people can access using magic words and paperwork. No, there is no account that has billions upon billions in some super secret government fund. But don't let me stop you from proving it.
Well, every single time that you contract with these foreign corporations, so you're talking about banks are foreign corporations, the state of state are foreign corporations, the cities, the counties, the courthouses, they're all foreign corporations. They consider us enemy combatants, whether we're a citizen or a state national, because we're foreigners to them. Even every single lawyer has signed an oath to the British Accreditation Registry, which makes them a foreign agent operating in our country, stealing our assets and trafficking us.
Let me ask all my lawyer pals, are you secret foreign agents? British, was it? Working for MI6?
Crazy, right? So Where I see it being the biggest problem and how they were really able to siphon so much money to almost like literally declare bad flu and take us all into massive slavery. What happened was when we registered to vote for these statewide foreign corporations, we set them up as the trustee over our entire communities. So as the trustee, they have access to draw money out of our Cestui Que trusts to the tune of trillions and beyond, in order to take us to war and in order to save us, right? And the governors that draw this money on, these are not governors. Again, we got to demystify this here.
Yes, you are crazy. The only thing that needs to be demystified is whatever peyote you have in your vaporizer.
These are corporations. They're not our republic. They are under the guise of our republic. But when you look on TV and you look at these governors, Governor DeSantis, Ducey, Inslee, all these people, they're not our governor. They are they're foreign corporate officers titling themselves governors. So they're not our governor, our Secretary of State, lieutenant governor. They're not our treasurer. They're not our House. They're not even our Senate.
Are you ever going to show us any of your supposed proof?
They're just foreign corporations acting. Like, imagine a pirate ship coming up onto our land, docking, and they're pirates, and they consider you an enemy combatant because you're belligerent. When you come up on their ship and you agree to contract with them, they think you're belligerent. And so how are we testing this stuff? Okay, well, let's get back to the piece on bad flu. So a governor can literally just announce to the world, oh my gosh, there's a new pandemic. And next thing you know, they can draw money out of our Cestui Que trust to protect us, but ultimately they were taking us to war, and they were taking us to war with each other with fake news. So when they do that, war is extremely profitable for them. And if they take us to an outside war, like a Gulf War or a Desert Storm or something like that, they're sending in troops and they own the estate of the troops. So when each of these troops die, their Cestui Que, their other half of the ledger, the one they didn't even know about, the government is making the money on all those estates. So the $2, $3, $4 billion, whatever each soldier is worth, guys, war is extremely profitable for these guys, and they're doing it worldwide.
Whereas, yes, war is profitable. It's not the cloak and dagger secret money ledger nonsense you're spewing.
Worldwide. So it's like a really big problem. As a matter of fact, every time you ever opened a bank account in the public, so you went to Bank of America and you set up a bank account in the public, they weren't taking your money. You were lending them money. They were then drawing money out of your Cestui Que to back it up, and then they set themselves up as a beneficiary of your account. In other words, I have friends on the front lines that have gone to try to cash checks by signing under the beneficiary name, and they seize up the account and they seize up all the assets in the bank account because you're not the beneficiary of your own money in the bank.
Or maybe because what they were doing was fraud?
Okay, so here's where it gets really brilliant. Trump, he set up an executive order where he declared and decreed that you can no longer traffic human beings. Taking the body as surety for a debt that the body does not owe is considered human trafficking.
Let's just invent definitions, shall we? The three most common types of human trafficking are sex trafficking, forced labor, and debt bondage. And before you try your gotcha moment, debt bondage is the act of forcing or coercing someone into repaying a debt with labor that is grossly underpaid. I'm not even going to address the mental gymnastics one has to take in order to make that executive order claim.
He also moved the Federal Reserve into the Treasury and started to clean up the Treasury as of 3/15/2020. And when he did that, he brought back the IRS. The IRS was a fake service. It was always meant to be a department, an IRD, inside the Treasury. And he's been cleaning all that up. So there's an internal revenue department that you can use to report anyone who's trafficking your person. So,
hey, if you try this, please let me know how long and hard they laugh at you.
This all sounds like hearsay, right? You're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot to take in. So let me tell you, I'm going to report a story to you. Good friend of mine named Kevin, super brave patriot from Missouri. Here's how he started to apply this executive order. Okay, so he, during the time of COVID, got apprehended in a hospital. He was there to see his son because his son was injured. And 4 police officers slammed him to the ground because he wouldn't wear a face diaper. They stole his wallet out of his back pocket, and then they filed a claim in the court against him. So what Kevin did, and what a lot of people are doing, is they're responding to these court cases. Again, it's a foreign corporation trying to contract with you. They're not a court. They're a foreign corporation, an administrative court trying to contract with you. And what they're really trying to do is con you into drawing money from your Cestui Que. Because what they do when they create a new court case is they create a trust in your name.
Are you keeping up with this? Make sure you take notes because Kevin is about to tell us how this works. Don't hold your breath.
Through another foreign brokerage, they create a trust in your name, and they place 3 bonds inside that trust: a bid, a performance, and a payment bond. Now, stay with me, guys. So what Kevin did was, anytime someone comes and they offer to contract with you, you have to respond within a certain number of days, like 30 days. So he responded with a conditional acceptance, meaning, sure, I'll agree to contract with you upon burden of proof, meaning if you can prove that what you say is true, right? And so, so they can't prove that not wearing a mask causes harm, right? So they have the burden of proof.
Yeah, even though I'm not a legal expert, I can tell you that that's not how this works. The crime Kevin was arrested for, and this is based on this magical story she's telling, was probably resisting and trespassing.
So at this point in time, he also responded to them with a counter presentment or a counter affidavit. And he said, because I have proof that shows that 4 police officers detained me, threw me to the ground, stole my wallet, etc., and accused me of something I didn't do. So here's my true bill. It's $13 million per police officer. I think it's USC Title 18 that gives you all these amounts. But it's $13 million per police officer times 4.
How many of you think that's what USC Title 18 says? Show of hands. I mean, in the comments.
And here's my evidence to prove it. And also here's a payment schedule for when you can pay me. And he not only did this counter presentment with this foreign corporation, this court, but he also filed it with the foreign corporation known as his county. So he went through a magistrate, AKA a notary. I don't know if everybody realizes this, but every notary is a public judge, a magistrate, and they can't rule over you. They can only see what documents are being presented. They're supposed to observe which documents are being presented and sign for them.
That's not a judge, dummy.
So then he sent it through the post office, which is actually our courts. So this proves that he has a paper trail because he got it notarized. Then he went through the court of the U.S. Postal Service.
What the soft-sit nonsense did you just say? The post office is the only actual court? So those safari hats and short shorts are their gavels and gowns. And stamps are the fines they levy? I honestly don't know how much more stupid I can handle.
Then he sent it to the county clerk. So all he's doing is just creating a paper trail. Then he also recorded it with the new Internal Revenue Department at the U.S. Treasury. So through the U.S. Treasury Inspector General. Now, I'm going to provide a whole list of links of departments that you can now file these claims with whenever someone is trafficking your body and trying to contract with you, because they can't do that anymore. They're not going to be able to get away with this anymore.
Lady, you've been promising proof for over 10 minutes. Let's see the proof that this whole Texas-sized mound of poo actually works.
Well, we're waiting.
Okay, so then the court saw that he was playing hardball. So what did they do? They totally ignored his counter presentment and all that stuff. They hoped it would go away. And they spawned up a new court case, and they put his middle initial in the court case. So he wouldn't have caught it if he didn't catch the middle initial. That's how sneaky they are. And so what did he do? He responded with all the same steps, and he sent them a notice that the bill was due. The bill was due. The time had gone by. The 13 million times 4, which is now double because he's got him in fraud on a second court case, has all doubled. So what did the court do?
They probably took a giant crap all over those filings and used the remaining as toilet paper.
Well, they knew they were in huge trouble. All this is filed. It's all filed. Both presentments, both court cases are all filed through the county clerk and with the internal revenue department, which is actually supposed to work on, they're working on our side now, guys. You want to make them your best friend because they're actually the ones that are going to help us manage balancing both sides of the ledger between our Cestui Que trust and our public accounts.
I mean, out of all the horseshit you spewed, this has to be the biggest pile of it. The IRS is on our side?
Bullshit.
Or our debt accounts. So think of it as credit and debt. Okay, so then the court, this is how sneaky they are. And you got another playbook. The courts basically filed bankruptcy. This foreign corporation filed bankruptcy and they ran for the hills. He could no longer find the 4 judges that had been assigned to these 2 fake cases. He couldn't find the lawyers, the prosecuting attorneys ran, the court clerk ran, even the brokerage company that started all these trusts in his name ran because they knew that he was auditing them. And so next thing you know, what do they do? But for 3 weeks later, they spawned up a new foreign corporation with a new LLC and a new Dun & Bradstreet number. And they literally changed the address, but it's the same exact courthouse. It's just a side door. So that's how they work. They just spawn up a whole new facade. As soon as they're caught, they spawn up a new facade and they act like no one can see them.
Where is your proof?
But they're right there in plain sight. So one of the first things you want to do anytime you're dealing with any foreign adversary, in this case, the court, ask them who they are, ask them for their oath of office, find out who are you and who do you work for. And if they send you an oath of office, that is all caps corporation with an all caps constitution or bylaws, that means you're dealing with a foreign corporation. And a lot of people that Ann LaFleur is working with are getting out of their court cases by simply going in and conditionally accepting any contract upon burden of proof of jurisdiction. In other words, if you get pulled over for a traffic violation or something like that, you can respond to the court through the magistrate and through the post office. Don't give a special appearance. Just respond and say, I will conditionally accept your opportunity or your offer to contract upon burden of proof of jurisdiction. And they don't have jurisdiction over you because they're trying to operate as human traffickers. They're operating in maritime. And you're standing in your honor and you're saying, no, I really don't want to participate in your fraud.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Who has bingo? I'm sure we all do. Yeah, don't try that unless you like stale bologna sandwiches for lunch, powdered eggs with botfly larvae for breakfast, and gruel with a side of lime jello for dinner. That's as much of her nonsense as I can tolerate and reasonably subject you to. The Geneva Convention says so. To all of my soft-set hate watchers, try this nonsense out. Make sure you film it and let me know how it goes. It was another long one, so thank you for sticking it out. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more episodes. As always, I'm Johnny O, and it's time for Finger Guns, baby.